Welcome to Jurassic World.
Guests, welcome to Jurassic World Minute, where we visit Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. Close the bloody gate! I'm Brad.
And I'm Dave.
And on this episode we're discussing minute 38 of Jurassic World. We have a guest. Jay, welcome back.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back.
One of the minutes you wanted to discuss, primarily because of the Indominus escape.
Oh, yes.
And the snack that she's just about to eat as well.
Yep.
Before we get to that snack, quickly over at Jurassic-Pedia.com, we've got the article up here for Nick. Nick Letting, I think his name is. I just can't find it now. Nick, anyway, the Paddock Supervisor. Since he's about to meet his demise, I thought we may as well.
That's right. That's what I've been calling him, because he's eating a sandwich when we first see him.
Got a bit of a write up here of his I completely lost the word. His antics, not antics. What he gets up to in Jurassic World, anyway. From when we first see him there, when Masrani and Co are at the observation room, all the way up to his death next minute. But I also went to IMDb, and I don't think I found the right actor, because I found Edelsten here, which comes up as Paddock Supervisor in the Jurassic World credits, but it doesn't look like him at all. So yeah, I don't know what's happened there, but I don't think that's the right actor anyway. So yeah, head over to Jurassic-Pedia, you can find that article and many more.
So, the Paddock is quite safe then?
We have the best structural engineers in the world.
Yeah, so did Hammond.
Guys, let's get into minute 38.
Let's do it.
As we entered 37 of Jurassic World, everyone shockingly realised that the Indominus Rex was in the cage with them. And while Owen and the workmen tried to escape, the Paddock Supervisor had made his own way towards the front gate. As we open on minute 38, Owen and the workmen's escape route is blocked. They turn and desperately run back to where the Paddock Supervisor is opening the main gate. At the 9-second mark, the Indominus lunges forward, grabbing the workman, picking him up into the air. And over the radio in the control room, you can hear his screams and the crunch of bones. At the 14-second mark, the park supervisor arrives at the gate, puts his hand on the scanner and punches in the code before leaving out the opening door. At the 24-second mark, after some protests from Larry, Masrani pushes the button to close the paddock gate. At the 35-second mark, Owen runs out the closing gate just as the Indominus lunges forward to swipe at him, but it crashes into the gate and is stopped in its tracks. Owen doesn't stop running. He runs straight for a crane that's parked near the gate and slides in the gravel, baseball style, underneath, rolls and looks back at the Indominus fighting the big gate, fighting to get out. At the 41-second mark, she throws the gate aside, free. Owen moves, not taking his eyes off her, as she makes her way towards the maintenance truck, where the park supervisor is hiding. And this ends minute 38 of Jurassic World.
As their escape route's blocked, Owen and the worker suddenly stop, and as we open up on 38, we get that shot past them, and we see the big feet of the animal, and those big clawed hands. Again, just sort of seeing little bits of the Indominus here, which is one of those Spielberg tropes, I suppose, not showing all the big bad all at once, but considering we've already seen the full animal in the trailers, nowadays I don't know why we do these slow reveals.
Well, it's one of those things where it's kind of something that's of a creature feature trope where you don't show the entirety of the creature right away. It's something that you slowly work to revealing. And honestly, it's a cliche I've never really liked. I mean, like, I know that there is a monster that we haven't seen it before, but at the same time, I mean, come on, enough with the cliches.
You know what it is too? I think they were not trying to really reveal it. And then it got revealed through merchandise, and then Universal was like, whatever, just show it. And then they showed, because like they weren't really showing much of it, and then like it was revealed through like party plates, right? Or something, like party supplies. And then and then like everybody knew what it looked like, and I was like, wow, it looks cool, but I was like, damn it, why did I look at it? Like, I didn't want to see it. It's like a lot of stuff right now I'm trying not to see, you know?
Yeah, and we know that sort of Universal didn't have a lot of faith in the film, like the budget wasn't as high, no animatronics, that sort of stuff.
No.
So this might be a little bit of a cost cutting here, just showing parts and not the full animal too early. But even that teaser poster where you had Claire on one side of the observation window and then the Indominus sort of nose and the front of its head on the other side of the glass, like, it would have been a great shot to reveal it coming up to the window and looking through it.
Which the Photoshop on that is, I don't know, it's humongous. Like, it's gigantic next to her. Like, that thing is like, has reached even, that thing's bigger than the Spinosaurus. And that, it's like a brachiosaur leg or something in front. Like, it's, I remember getting that poster and I was just like, what? Like, how huge is this Indominus? Like, it is not that big. Like, yeah. I remember that poster.
Yeah, but both Owen and the park supervisor start running back down the path. Surprising they're just running in a straight line, no one's zigzagging or trying to evade the Indominus, but unfortunately one of the characters isn't Chris Pratt, and that's when the Indominus reaches down with those big clawed hands and grabs the other Spanish-looking workman as they try and run away. And that's when we cut back into the control room with a stunned Vivian, Lowry, and Masrani as they stare at the monitor. And you can hear the man's screams coming through the radio, followed by the crunching of the bones. I'm not quite sure how they're hearing that in the control room when the only communication we've seen is through the work or the supervisor's radio, unless it's on Vox or something, voice activated. But yeah, the little crunch of tiny workman bones as she gets to taste the first bit of human.
One thing I do like though is how the Indominus picks up the worker with her hands and like bites him like a candy bar. I mean, it's kind of grotesque in a very innocently grotesque way. I mean, it's kind of like Frankenstein tossing the girl in the lake to see if she floats. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sort of... It's weird how she sort of bites his torso off and then rips him in half, or rips his legs off while she's chewing on the torso. Like, this isn't just a down the mouth and gulp, you're gone. This poor workman's ripped apart. Yeah,
she's having fun with her food.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it shows that she's kind of testing it out. And why it's like somebody tentatively tasting a new food, you know? Trying to see... They take a small bite first to see if they like it.
Yeah, she's a food critic.
Claire's hearing all this over a phone as well. Which again, I don't know how all this radio is working. Of course, it's building the tension here, but we get back to the main gate as the supervisor puts his hand directly onto that palm scanner and begins pushing buttons. It beeps and a large gate begins to open. Sort of weird looking control panel here for the paddock. It's got another little separate keypad off to the left, which looks like two little small drawers And I was wondering if they've got weapons in there or something, some sort of self-defense, or it's just a weird little layout of the control panel.
Oh.
But the park supervisor moves back from the gate and he looks back to see Owen sprinting towards him. And in the background you can see the workman in the Indominus's jaws, and she grips his right leg and pulls it off before chewing the body for a little bit before swallowing. So that leg's still in the pen. That's something they can send back to his family to bury.
They're not going to have an open casket for that guy.
No.
No. Oh well. They probably signed something when they work in Jurassic World.
Yeah, that's a nice thing they can put in the brochure. One of these days, one of you will be eaten.
Yep.
Like, Larry says that later.
Like, you guys ever go into those places where you can throw hatchets?
Oh
yeah,
no,
I've heard of them.
Yeah. So I went with my with the shop I work at, with the crew from the shop, and we did it as kind of like a team building kind of thing, because I'm new at the shop and I was meeting everybody, So like we went to one of these places, and yeah, you got to sign something like like if that hatchet's like bounces back and chops you in the head, oh well, too bad.
Wow.
You know the
Some
danger.
of those places serve alcohol, and I'm not sure how they get away with it, or why
there was
they
drinks.
think it would be a good idea to do so.
Yeah, no, you could.
Yeah, let's go get drunk and throw axes. So whoever had kept their hand ever.
Yeah, it's a BYOB. Bring your own beer and stuff. Yeah, we had drinks there. I didn't drink anything because I was driving, so like, I just had pizza and soda. But like, yeah, you can have your own beer and drinks there. Like, I'm like, oh wow, okay. But I was pretty good at it. Well, yeah, maybe in Jurassic World that happens. You have to sign something, when you work there.
To be fair, of course you're good at it. You were the only one sober.
Yeah, but everybody else is doing pretty well too. Nobody died.
Still got all your fingers.
When I went to a friend's bachelor party and we went bowling drunk.
Oh man.
The kids are still listening to this, right? Wait till you're 21. All right.
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Yeah. By now the gate's it's open up enough for the supervisor to get through, and he exits the enclosure whimpering. A little bit of tension here. Imagine just standing there waiting for this big door to open enough for you to get through, and the whole time you're looking back and seeing this big animal eating one of your co-workers. But that's when we cut back to the control room and we get the shot of that map window again. This time the camera pointing down at the gate as we get the big security breach warning flashing across the screen. Also note there on the map we can see that big red rain event or tropical storm or whatever you want to call it hitting the south of the island pretty hard by the looks of it. So yeah, it's getting wet down there. Masrani tells Lowry to close the door, and Lowry pleads we can't lock him in, but Masrani interrupts, leaning forward, pushing the buttons, come on, close it down. I think he, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. He's thinking about there, lock the guys in there because we can't have this animal out on the loose.
Mm-hmm.
Which might have been a little bit of an overreaction, but yeah, a couple of dead employees here is nowhere near as bad as it out in the park.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As we're going to see later in the film. Meanwhile, Claire's still listening to all this on her phone and just wants someone to talk to her and tell her what's happening. And we cut back to Owen still running. The animal stopped chewing on the workman and is now running after Owen, very close behind him. Again, Owen being able to outrun this Indominus in its enclosure. A little bit of
movie magic
fantasy here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is the more open side of the enclosure. I mean, there's no tree roots or anything to worry about.
Yep. And we get this camera shot from behind the animal as Owen's approaching the gate. the gate, which we can clearly see now starting to close. And I sort of just love this shot because without missing a beat, Owen runs through the gate as it's closing. Just as Indominus reaches forward to grab him, he escapes the hand, but she's sort of crashes into the gate and is caught by it closing. And we get the spot like the spiderweb effect of all the concrete cracking around the gate where she impacted it. And as the door sort of holds her in place, and then the continued sort of single shot here stays on Owen as he continues running forward, slides to the ground like he's stealing second base and rolls under the crane. We've seen Park there earlier. And the whole time you can see the Indominus struggling with the enclosure door behind him. Just a good little bit of like, she's all CGI, but she's just out of focus there. You can see what she's doing clearly, but not seeing the animal clearly either. As Owen rolls under the crane onto his stomach, we can see past him at the enclosure gate, and the Indominus's feet as you can hear sort of that electronic whirling sound as the gate's struggling to close against it, and then she roars and pushes the gate open, destroying it. And we get that sort of fearful look on Owen as the big animal's feet slowly move out, and again only showing parts of it here, but he's sort of moving around under the crane, not taking his eyes off her as she goes looking for someone else. And that's where the minute ends. We see her feet moving behind that maintenance truck. As the camera focuses in, we can see the Paddock Supervisor sitting there in front of the truck hiding poorly. He didn't get very far from the gate either, even though he had a head start. So this is it, she's out.
And she is hungry.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna see next minute that she must enjoy the taste of human flesh.
It reminds me of the discussion Muldoon has in the book where not Muldoon, I think it's Ian Malcolm and Muldoon have in the book, where Ian Malcolm points out that most animals in the wild figure out what prey is the easiest to eat, and that's what they'll choose to go after. And they have to learn that humans make easy meals. And then he makes the suggestion: how would the raptors know that humans are easy meals if they haven't attacked before? Because Hammond's always kind of hush-hush about his animal. Oh, my animals would never attack anybody. And so it makes me wonder, where did the Indominus learn that humans make easy meals or are easily tricked like this?
Do you remember that they when they say, like, when Owen's in there, the cage, not inside the cage, the panel, he's like, and you feed her with this? And oh no, it wasn't with Owen, it was with Masrani, and Claire explains that the other guy almost lost an arm.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think it already started learning that humans are easy to eat from that incident. Or it might have had another incident we don't know about. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that they keep secret in this Jurassic universe that we find out later on when it's retconned or written in.
Yeah.
Maybe more than one worker died at the hand of, or at the tooth and claw of the Indominus Rex.
Well, especially when there's construction crews actively working on the enclosure.
I know, that's it. That's just, and it's in there. Like, what? That is so dangerous.
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting there working on the wall and just stick your head over the top and here it is just staring at you 2 feet away? Oh, no.
Guys, please hold the crane. Hold the crane.
Or how did they figure out that they needed to build the walls higher?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Somebody's building the wall, and all of a sudden they're not there.
Exactly.
Also, even just feeding her with the crane, feeding her a side of beef and not feeding her live animals. I know when I had my pet snakes, like carpet pythons, you'd feed them frozen or de-thawed frozen rats and that, because if you feed them real rats, they'd have more aggression and more of that hunting instinct to eat than just the frozen ones. Plus some other issues as well. But yeah, it's. You imagine it'd be the same with the raptors if they're letting the pigs go into the enclosure to feed them instead of either hand feeding them the mice or just dropping sides of beef in there as well.
Oh yeah.
Plus, we've seen before too that she tried to break the glass to get into supposedly the supervisor in the observation room there, and maybe Claire or other workers inside there as well. So she's been wanting to dine out on this supervisor for some time.
Oh yeah, no, you know why, dude? Because he's always eating sandwiches in front of her. You guys thought I was gonna say something real, but no, I just had to throw that in there. But no, like she's probably been studying him for a while, just watching him move. He moves slow. He seems like slow prey. You know what I mean? Anybody going in there, she's like, wow, look at them. They don't move fast. They just stand there looking at me. Mm-hmm. Like, all there is that, like, see-through, like, wall. And if I could break through there, because we all know that she's smart. Like, she's a very intelligent predator. You know, they gave her the mind of... She has all the good DNA. You know what I mean? She has the power and brute force of a T-Rex, and she has the intelligence of a raptor. So this thing is very intelligent, and it was probably studying people building, people working and building her cage and watching her for a long time, just like the raptor studied try to break that the raptor pen. You know what I mean? Remember?
Yeah, and
remember.
Oh yeah, yeah. We mentioned last minute too the fact that those scratchings on the wall weren't there when Masrani and Claire were there at the enclosure earlier. She done that after they left, and before Owen and her come back. So the whole time he's been in there having lunch and hasn't even noticed that she's been over there doing claw art on the concrete wall while he's got his back turned.
Yeah, that guy, you could tell he didn't really take his job seriously. That's the whole point. That's why he got eaten. Yep. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. He was just there, just like, yeah, I don't care. And then all of a sudden, well, that's why you're Indominus food now.
To be fair, though, I mean, at the same time, and this isn't this minute, this is the beginning of next minute. It is really sad when we see him look over to Owen and with that kind of whimper in his eyes right before the Indominus bites down on him.
Especially when she just tossed the maintenance truck completely out of the way.
Does he look like he says something? It looks like he mouths something, right?
I think he's trembling his lip, because he knows what's coming and he knows it's the inevitability of it, and there's nothing he can do about it. You know?
I always thought, like, when he looks at Owen and he says, like, SH. Yeah, basically. It just looks like he looks at him like either, you know, the other word or the S word. Like, I feel like that's what he, like, kind of mumbles, like, damn it. Like, yeah. Or, like, kind of like, lucky you. Like, you're under the truck. Why can't it be you? You know?
Yeah, well, he sort of mumbles and whimpers a bit as he waiting for the door to open too. But I suppose we've seen the same thing with Gennaro, where he's oh Jesus,
yeah.
run for the toilet. At least Eddie held his ground for the most part.
Yeah, he did. To a certain extent.
Looking over the novel comparisons briefly, only real difference here is it's Claire that tells Larry to close the gate over the phone, and Owen slides under an excavator. And since the writers probably don't know the difference with earth moving equipment, I'll let that little nitpick slide. But I will, however, be saying some stuff about next minute where we get the cutting of the fuel line on this vehicle, where there's no reason for fuel lines to be down there. That's minute 38. Anything else anyone wants to discuss before we get out of here for the day?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too,
all
man.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jay, for coming on. Anything you want to plug? I know you're pretty busy over at the Jurassic Park podcast at the moment.
Oh yeah. If you guys haven't heard, we just premiered the Do You Remember segment, which is do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? Brad was like, it's pretty long, the title. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, do you want to just leave it at, do you remember? I'm like, yeah, you can leave it as that. And yeah, the first episode premiered, I think like 2 weeks ago. And I had Brad as a guest, the host of the podcast, of the other podcast, because you're Brad too. We got Brad, you, and then we got Brad, the other one from the Jurassic Park podcast. Yeah, it was great to have that segment play because it's a segment where I'm gonna have the contributors for now of the podcast explain why is it that they love dinosaurs and where this love from dinosaurs comes from. When is the first time they laid eyes on dinosaurs? Like where is this love at first sight kind of thing with dinosaurs happen, And it's cool because you get to hear the contributors, where they come from, how they got interested in dinosaurs. You hear different stories. It's not always exactly the same. Jurassic Park sometimes is the first thing, and sometimes it's kind of the last thing that solidified the love for dinosaurs. Some contributors, the first dinosaurs they saw or were introduced to were Land Before Time, or dinosaurs in the the movie Dinosaur, Disney's Dinosaur. You know what I mean? So it's like it's cool to hear that and where that love comes from. And like I said, the contributors of the Jurassic Park podcast are the ones that I'm having as guests first, and then if this segment keeps going, which I hope it does, I hope people liked it. I'm going to start having people from the community of Jurassic Park. So you, sirs, will be on there at some point as well. If
Lovely.
You know what I mean? It'd be great. Yeah, you guys are important members of the community, so I'd love to have you on there as well. But like I said, after we get through all the contributors, and the Jurassic Park podcast has a lot. there's a good bunch. I was able to interview, I think it was I hate saying interview, but basically have I would say 4 so far, including Brad, and then I got a couple more to go through, and then little by little going through the members of the community, which will be great because I feel like the audience that listens, it would be cool to oh, so that's how they got into dinosaurs. Oh, me too. I love dinosaurs because of this, and that, So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all have a different story. Some people may be along the same lines, but even like your first episode, just the tangents into Twister and that's exactly where I was in '95 as well.
Yeah, you resonate with that. That's like the whole thing of that's what I do on that podcast. Basically, I try to resonate with the listeners. We have a lot of segments now. Where we have the Wire one where it's all news and stuff like that with Aaron and Brad, and then and then there's the one with Jen and Brad with the mailbag. Those are the big ones, but I feel like when it comes to my segments Amber Finds and this one, and even the Jay and Ted's Jurassic Adventures, it's all nostalgia and bring you back to those good old days of Jurassic where you remember why you got into this franchise in the first place. You know what I mean? Mm. And it'll make even younger listeners go back and be like, wow, okay, I didn't know that about Jurassic. I didn't know Twister was such a big hit back then, it'll make you think about those things,
I still love Twister.
I love Twister too, man. I bought it. I had it I haven't had it since it was on VHS, and then I've lost all my VHS around or whatever. But I never had it on DVD. But the other day I'm $10 on Amazon? Hell yes! And now it's part of my digital library. At one point I'll get the actual hard copy, but for now that's good enough.
Lovely. Thanks again, Jay.
Yep.
For coming on. Hope to have you back in the future. David,
Definitely.
Let's say we get out of here for today.
All right.
I'll little tangent. I'll be wondering if Amazon cut out Dusty's wardrobe malfunction at the beginning of it.
Wait, what?
What?
I probably should.
I'm like, both of us are like, wait, what?
Then I know it was on the VHS. I don't even know if it's on the original because it was one of the first films to come out on DVD too. When they're out at the field and I'm gonna blank here. Bill Paxton and his new wife, fiance, come up to get the divorce papers signed. When Seymour Hoffman's sitting in the garden chair, he hasn't got any underwear on. And
What?
yeah,
I did not know that.
I have to look for this now.
yeah. One of something large and hairy falls out or something.
Oh my god. It's a real twister right there.
It was, yes. It's the Dust Man.
The sex.
Oh no! No. This is a kids program. Alright, you're gonna have to do some editing.
Yeah. This is after the credits, definitely.
Yeah.